Hi guys, welcome back. If this is your first time on our channel, well, welcome.
Welcome in.
This is Keegan. I'm Alexis.
This is Oreo.
So, we wanted to do a Q&A today, but it's our first one, so we only really got 2 questions, and we kind of just want to camp on one of them and make a video out of that, but we still want to answer the other one. And the other question was from my cousin. She asked how my cat is doing, so that's why Oreo's in the video. He's doing good. He just got a haircut because he's a long-haired cat.
Long-haired animal.
And he gets dreads a lot in the summertime especially, so he gets groomed every summer like a little lion. So he's doing good.
Sure.
Our next question, and what this video will mostly be about, is we got asked how we met, and so we're going to kind of turn that into how we met / our story up to this point, and then maybe a little bit of what's next. So hopefully you find that interesting. Yeah, I think we're just going to kind of each tell our side a little bit. So, my best friend and I, Hannah, were at summer camp in Montana called Camp Bighorn, and we arrived for staff training, and he actually came late, so we were there for like about a week and a half. I don't even remember how late you were, but we'd already kind of been there for a little while, so we'd kind of already gotten to know everybody and whatever. So we were sitting in the lodge after training one day, and all of a sudden this guy walks in the lodge with one of our friends. I was like, who, you know, and I honestly looked over to Hannah and was just like, who is that? So that night we kind of bombarded him with a bunch of questions and wanted to get to know him, and so for the rest of the summer I kind of had eyes on him, and he was totally not interested. He was just this chill, quiet skater boy with flippy hair, and I was just like heart eyes all the way. And that was summer of 2015. So that's my initial thing. Go.
Okay, so my side of the conversation. After I walk in, you sit, well, maybe you get some coffee or whatever, sit down at their table, and who was Krista?
Mm-hmm.
The other friend, Krista, there, was asking me lots of questions. And then I think Hannah also asked lots of questions.
Probably.
And you were kind of sitting over there, didn't really talk much. You laughed a lot.
Yeah.
I remember your smile because it was very just unique and different.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it was. And yeah, and then I was just a skater boy with flippy hair the rest of the summer.
Yeah. So then that night I actually learned that I was 17 at the time, because that was 3 summers ago, and I learned that he was 15, so I was a little bit like, well, he's so cute.
And I thought you guys were younger than I was.
So the rest of the summer, I kind of tried to make my way in, but I also just kind of knew from the start, like I could tell that there was something different about him, and he was really interesting to me. Like his quietness and his, like, he just seemed kind of shut off a little bit and not super, like, I don't know. So that interested me, and I really wanted to get to know him more just because I could tell that he was sweet and kind, even though he didn't really say much. So I tried kind of all summer, and there was a couple times that we actually did have some conversations.
Yeah.
He told me a little bit about his music and songs he was writing, and a little bit about his family and stuff, and so that was really cool. But all summer I had the biggest crush on him, and I kept talking to my girls in my dorm about him, and was just like, you guys, like, he's so cool. And I just felt kind of ridiculous because I was like, I literally could count on one hand how many times I've talked to him, but for some reason I just can't stop thinking about him. And they were all like, you're crazy, he's 15, he's a baby, he's not boyfriend material, are you sure you like him? You shouldn't like him, blah, 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 blah. And so then eventually I just stopped talking about it because I didn't want to hear it anymore, but I still liked him for some reason. And I just wanted to know more about him and I wanted to get to know him, but I just kind of started to hide that and shut that down or try and like speak against that because I felt ridiculous for even, you know, feeling those ways. So, yeah.
I do vividly remember the few conversations we had, which is very special to us
Now.
One of them was on the porch of the staff lounge. The one thing I remember about that is when you kept asking me, kept saying, "Tell me more, Keeg," or maybe you didn't call me Keeg at the time, but I didn't really talk much, but you kept pushing in. That's special to me now.
So yeah,
Where are we at?
the summer keeps going on, and then eventually I come back to camp one day and I heard that he was getting sent home, and for some reason I was like devastated by that. Like I think I cried because I was super sad. He was going home like a couple weeks before the rest of us, and I felt like I lost my chance to get to know him, and I was never going to get to know him, and I was just super sad that he was leaving because I didn't want him to leave. And so he left, and I made him a bracelet. I made you a bracelet, which you lost. So yeah, he left, and I was kind of sad about that, and then a lot of my friends at camp were just like, well, just try and like forget about it, you know, move on, whatever, and I just couldn't. I really couldn't. And as soon as he left, like I could start to see him around camp, and like I could see the places where I had noticed him, you know, and so it was hard. I don't know why it was so hard, but it was hard for me when you left, and we still hadn't really gotten to know each other very well. So for me, it was still confusing, like, why do I feel this way so strongly? Yeah. And then you went home.
Started sophomore year and
Left in July. I left in August from camp. And a couple months, like, we would text and have, like, small conversation for, like...
Before the wedding or after?
Yeah, before the wedding. Like, just November, December, we had texted a couple times. And after the summer, I still thought about him often. I was sad that I didn't really feel like I had the chance to get to know him. So we talked a couple times in between that. And then the wedding was in January.
At the wedding, it was when I first felt that I might have liked you a little bit.
Weddings have a way of doing that.
Oh boy. So I remember seeing her at the wedding. I knew she was gonna be there. Alexis was wearing her hippie pants, and I thought that was attractive. Real catch is when she left, I didn't want her to leave. And I wanted to hug her, and I was like, oh. So then I started to realize that, like, I liked you. And then I was writing songs and recording them and being kind of insecure about my voice and singing and songwriting. I started sending them to Alexis, and she would write me back about it. And
that whole time I still had like the biggest crush on him, and at the end of March, Hannah and I were like, let's go to Portland for the end of spring break. So I was like, hey, we're gonna come to Portland, and can we maybe park our truck in your driveway and sleep in the bed of our truck? Like, we don't even have to go in your house. We don't even have to sleep in your house. We'll bring our own bed. We'll sleep in the driveway.
Just need the bathroom.
But we just need a bathroom. And so he asked his parents, and they said yes. So Hannah and I literally put my mattress in the bed of our pickup truck and packed like a cooler full of snacks and drove down to Portland because that felt like such a long drive back then. So we showed up. Keegan comes out. His dad meets us in the driveway and is like, you drove all the way here to hang out with him?
Word for word.
Like... Oh. So then, yeah, we hung out that day. We went to the waterfall. We went to Horsetail Falls, Crown Point, all that stuff. And I just knew. I knew the second I saw him again that was it. Like, we were going to date. We were going to be, like, we had such a strong connection that you couldn't even really explain. Like, for some reason, it was just there. And, well, not for some reason. God totally put that there. And I couldn't keep my eyes off you, and I was super excited to be there with you.
Another part of it is that my brother joined the crew, and then we all four started our adventures.
So we ended up staying 2 nights, and that night I think is when I realized that you kind of liked me back.
So, and then the end of the weekend came, and Alexis was trying to get out the door, and my family was saying bye, and so she was taking a while to get out the door, and I was just watching her the whole time, just like hoping that she would see me, notice her, and I just didn't want her to leave. I knew that I liked you. I liked you finally.
And then I went home, and after that was when we started texting every single day, and we haven't stopped talking since, and we're going on 2.5 years of doing long distance, driving from Graham to Portland and Portland to Graham, and soon that's going to be ending and I'm going to be moving to Portland. And so it's been a really crazy story, and we're really just thankful that God brought us together. Just have seen his hand every step of the way, even from like having us meet at camp and kind of protecting us from dating men because we just weren't ready, and then like how he finally did bring us together, and then he's just had his hand and grown us over these past 2 years, and so it's been really fun. I love ya.
I love you.
So yeah, hope you guys like our story. Maybe we'll try and do another Q&A later, and maybe we'll get some more questions. But for now, it was really fun, and I hope you guys liked hearing a little bit of our background and where we've been. And there's been a lot of ups and downs, but we're thankful for all of it. So keep following along.
Okay.
Love you guys.